Hello, and welcome to the IP Author podcast, where we are talking all things AI and IP. I'm your host, Saskia van Reineveld, actress and CEO of Executive Communications Coaching.
And my name is Samir Raiyani. I'm the founder and CEO of IP Author.
So, Samir, tell us, what is going on at the moment in the world of AI and IP?
Well, all the news right now has been about Claude Code, right? This is the tool that Anthropic, the company that was up until recently, the also ran in the AI race behind the behemoth, which is OpenAI, ChatGPT. Suddenly, Anthropic has run away with this hit. And the hit product is a coding tool. It's as boring as it gets. And yet, this tool is really, really exciting.
You mentioned something to me a little bit before we started our discussion, that even Elon Musk is conceding not defeat, but admitting that maybe this is not such a bad tool after all. Is that?
Everybody in the industry, in the software industry, has Claude Code envy. In fact, Elon Musk just offered to pay $60 billion, and the offer was accepted for a tool called Cursor, which is a distant second or third in this automated coding world.
Okay, so yeah, this is the thing. This is the next phase of the whole LLM AI splash that we've been living through for the last couple of years. Now, I haven't quite dipped my toes in yet, but you, I know, have really been getting into Claude Code and exactly how it works and integrating it into IP Author. So how exactly are you using it? How would you explain Claude Code to somebody who's kind of aware of generative AI, but not quite on board yet with all of the different things it can do?
Yeah. So think about it like in steps, right? And it all comes together. So when you say everybody uses ChatGPT, you ask it questions and it will give you answers. Then you wonder, right? Like you'll be like, oh, can I ask it to do some things for me? And it does it, right? Like, so you ask it, like, can you build me an email? It'll draft an email for you. Then can you do a Word document? And it'll do a document for you. Can you do a PowerPoint? And it'll do a PowerPoint. So the coder types were like, hey, can you write me code? And it started writing code. And so they started copying and pasting the code into their code, like the AI generated code. And then they said, wait a minute, can we ask it to do multiple parts of the coding, like the back end and the front end and all that? So that's when they realized that they can do like all this agentic work, right? Like they can set up one agent, like one instance of ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, and ask it to do one task, and you can set up another agent to do another task. But then if you have all these agents running independently, they tried it and it was not very pretty because they could not all keep their act together and things were not in sync. But then they created what they call this agent harness, right? And this agent harness is this Claude Code, which can then control all of these different agents working in parallel and get them to work together so that if they make a mistake, if they hallucinate, if they write some bad code, that another agent will tell them, no, this ain't good, fix it. And then they'll fix it and then they'll make it work together.
So it becomes a kind of autonomous hub in some ways where it has an overseeing manager of itself. And because I've been trying to wrap my head around the idea of the agents and imagining them as these little minions that you're deploying and they're kind of going off and they're doing all the little tasks for you. But of course, previously, as you were describing it, so you had the coders who were trying to control all of this, but now they've created something. So Claude Code is kind of like your manager of all the agents.
All of the minions, yes.
Okay, yeah. So it's checking on what they're doing. It's making sure they've done their homework. It's making sure that it's all up to date. It's making sure it's being done according to the specifications. And the coder is the one who's feeding in all of the requirements and telling it, this is what I need you to do. Then you take care of doing it. Is that
correct? Like that's exactly, that's a perfect analogy. But here's the thing. The crazy thing about this is, and this is what the Claude Code people went out with recently. They said, code is all you need. What do they mean? What they're saying is that you don't need anything else. If you have this agent harness and if you have all these coding agents, you can run the world with this.
There we go.
That's the hubris.
So this is your like Department of Education, and this is your all the different ministries that you might have in a government. You could just create a whole agentic hub, and that would run the country for you, and then by extension run the world. So okay, if we narrow it down a little bit, how might you run your company
Exactly,
with this
right?
kind of thing?
It's amazing. So I have been using Claude Code for
Hmm.
coding and building our tools and testing and so on. But I had it connected with our CRM system. I had
Hmm.
it
Hmm.
connected with some of our analytics tools, and it works beautifully.
Hmm.
It really enhances. CRMs are terrible. We've tried every CRM under the sun. They're all terrible. They're all really, really short sighted, limited in terms of capabilities.
Yeah.
Guess what? Claude Code unlocks them. It's like the cheat code. Now I can ask it questions. I can say, you know what? Like, how many like clients did we stop communicating with just because, we ran out of bandwidth?
Mm.
And it can go into the CRM, it can track all of that down, and then it can give you a really nuanced picture because it can read the notes that the salespeople have put in and then tell you what happened, why things didn't quite work out. So the salespeople may have forgotten to label them, to tag them. But as
Hmm.
long as they put some textual notes, Claude is fine with it. And it'll create this structure and it'll give you deep insights into how you're handling your sales operation. It's phenomenal.
Okay, so you're connecting it to something that you already have established, right? So you're connecting it to your CRM. Can you connect it on the financial side as well? So you could connect it to your accounting package. I'm not sure in terms of human resources, maybe different kinds of programs that you might be using. So you're integrating it
Yeah,
to programs you're already using.
exactly.
Okay.
So most programs, as you know, will provide some kind of a connection, right? Like, so you can connect it with an API or you can connect it with some other connector of different type. Claude can handle all sorts of connectors. It'll
Uh-huh.
figure out what that connector needs. It'll learn the connector's jargon.
Mhm, mhm,
It will try different tricks out and it'll know how to talk to that particular engine. So your sales is information in CRM, your financial information is in QuickBooks. It'll
mhm,
know how
mhm,
to deal with it. Like in case of QuickBooks, by the way, I wanted it to prepare some analytics for our business for my board presentation, and I couldn't make it talk to QuickBooks. QuickBooks is locked down as it should be, and so I didn't connect it with the API. Instead, I downloaded the information that
mhm,
was
mhm.
necessary, gave it to Claude Code, and say, "Go crazy," right?
Okay.
And then it connected to the CRM. It took the financial information, it combined everything, and gave me really awesome reporting.
But now, do you need to do anything fancy for it to be able to make those connections? I mean, are you doing any coding as part of your interaction with
That's
Claude
the thing.
Code?
Like
Okay.
even coders aren't coding anymore, right?
Okay.
The tool is called Claude Code, but it should be like Claude don't code, right? Like I mean, like
Claude,
or
no need to code.
yeah, even better. Like you don't have to code, right?
Okay. Okay.
So you're not really writing code anymore. You're
Mhm.
just using a coding platform, but it's really what it is an agent harness, right? Like an
Okay.
agent rider, right?
Right.
And that is what the technology is.
Okay. And so now how okay, you've been speaking about using it personally as the CEO of your business, but of course we're talking about IP Author. And IP Author is so integrated with generative AI. I mean, that's the whole point of what you're doing is bringing the legal profession to generative AI, or generative AI to the legal profession. So now, what have you been able to do based on what Claude Code is giving you in terms of possibilities and what you've built with IP Author?
Yeah, and that part is really exciting, right?
Uh,
We have when we did the last inventory, we realized that we have hundreds of tools, right? We
mm,
have tools to do patent searching, and we have tools to do standards essential patent searching, and then we have tools that'll write claims, they'll write patent specifications, they'll generate the diagrams,
mhm,
that'll respond to office actions, that'll collect and organize prosecution data. We have so many tools. We inventoried those tools and organized them and gave them to Claude Code, right? Through our what's called an MCP server. So it's basically a single place, like a clearinghouse for all our platform's capabilities. So we
Okay.
set up this clearinghouse and we pointed Claude Code to it and said, here, do something interesting with it. And immediately it was able to do it. And I'm going to show you a quick 1-second demo as to
Okay.
how that worked, right? So here I've connected it to IP Author and I said, find all the recent interesting patterns in the area of coding tools using AI. And it conducted a search using IP Author search engine. It organized the results that came out and it just took the first 25, right? Like it didn't like, we didn't do a comprehensive landscape and said like, check everything out. This is just a proof concept, right? So here it shows us like, what are the themes worth flagging and so on. So then I said, well, can you create a graphical view of this information? And boom, it created a customized view of this information and created a nice little chart. Now, obviously, you can organize it whichever way you want, but this already gives you a sense of what is going on in this space, what technologies are being discussed, like, who are the players most active in terms of patent filings, etc., right? Like which startups are actually like Replit is filing a lot of patents, it looks like, right? Now, obviously, this is not a comprehensive search, but you immediately start getting attention, getting a sense of what's going on. I can obviously ask it to, let's look at, the let's look at 10,000 patents, not just 25, right? And all of a sudden the picture becomes clearer. But this is all at your fingertips. It's build your own adventure, right?
Okay. So when you're doing something like a prior art search, right? And so far, what we've been seeing, which is the difference of Google to using the LLMs, is things start become a lot more personalized. They become specific to exactly what you're looking for. It's no longer that you search for something, Google gives you all the results, and you have to kind of sift through everything and see what's actually what you're looking for. Then you have ChatGPT or whichever other LLM search engine that you're using, which is kind of giving you the specific results. It's filtered everything. But now for you, what you're doing, if this is what I'm understanding correctly, is that by combining Claude Code with what IP Author gives you, is that not only can you get the results, but then you can reformat those results to give you those pictures, graphics of what it is that you're seeing, also to kind of highlight the different trends that are happening, or maybe to pull out the specific things that somebody who is looking for certain information will want. So it's becoming more and more specific and detailed and personalized. Is that?
Yeah.
That's kind of
So
what you're
now,
creating.
like, for example, I could go into this tool and say, here is my idea. Make sure that it is novel. So it'll again go and check. And go ahead, draft the patent application and tell me which particular patent art unit it will feature in and what are the examiners likely to do with it. And it will just use all of the different tools that we have provided. It'll spawn off all these different agents, use those tools, bring the information together, give me the claims, give me examiner information, and project out what the prosecution path for this patent might be like. That's just one example. Really, this is build your own adventure. One of our clients recently wanted to conduct like some analysis that is very specific to their industry. And they had a recipe of how they were doing it. We could provide that in a couple of months as a feature under IP Author. But why wait that long? So here's a tool, build it. And they were able to build it right away.
And how are you finding the response from some clients? Are you finding that people are really excited and they're able to kind of take this on? Are you finding that there may be some who are also just not sure about the idea of these different agents and how that works, or maybe once they see what the benefit is, they get excited about it? What's the kind of feeling that you're getting from people as you explain this new thing?
No, I mean, it's the whole spectrum, right? Like there are people who get it and can't wait to lay their hands on it because they have coded all their life. They are not at all intimidated by the idea of opening up a coding tool because that's how these tools are right now. Unfortunately, all these agent harnesses are very designed for, the typical software developer. So there are these people who have some software development background, whether as kids in high school or in college or wherever they did it. They pick it up, they run with it. Then there are those who totally get the value. And they are coming to us and saying, okay, here's how we want you to use it. These are the agents our business needs. Can you bring them together? Right. So that's the second group of people. And then there are those who are like, wow, this idea is so cool. I can't wait for it. But they're going to wait for something a little bit easier to
Yeah.
handle, right?
A bit more user friendly, maybe.
Yeah. But I mean, there are a handful of people who are like, I don't get it and I don't need it.
Hmm.
But we don't come across those people because, we did a webinar recently and it was
Hmm.
packed. Like there was so much excitement for these technologies. I think, and data shows it, right? After the coding community, after the software development community, the next community adopting AI the fastest, the most effectively is the legal community. So I'm not surprised that this community is embracing this technology really, really quickly.
And why do you think that is? Is it because generative AI is quite a good tool for something like the legal industry, which is so information heavy and there's so much that needs to be sifted through. And it's also really about strategy and being able to, based on the information that you have, then design your best prosecution strategy or your patent drafting strategy. Is it because of that? Or what is it that you think means that, or why is it that they are jumping onto this so much
Yeah.
with such enthusiasm?
I have a theory. My theory is that since the internet became a thing in the 1990s,
Hmm.
since then, many industries, like take, for example, e-commerce, they've got so much new technology coming into their space, right?
Hmm.
Impacting their business, right? Like if you're a retailer, right? Like you had the whole online shopping
Mm.
craze, online ads. You have buy now, pay later. You have
Hmm.
mobile. You have photographs, AI. So many new technologies have impacted your business. So a retailer like Walmart, is completely been transformed
Hmm.
from like what it was in 1990 to what it is today in 2026, right? You take the legal profession, not much has changed for legal through all of the last 30 years technology waves, right? Like what improved for them? Yes, they could access more information,
Hmm.
absolutely, right? And they could store more information and they could
Sure.
share it like by email. But other than that, like, they're still using the same redlining tools that were available in 1990s in Microsoft Word that are available today. They have had, and again, this is a profitable industry. They've had lots of money to spend,
Hmm.
but the technology providers haven't offered them anything interesting to spend their money on. Now the technology is offering them some tremendous efficiencies. Uh, the technology is offering them something new that actually works, and therefore there's this excitement, and therefore there is a lot of the FOMO in the industry as well. But the other thing I would mention is that there is a little bit of fear of kind of these technologies taking their jobs and things
Mm.
like that,
Of
which
course.
just isn't happening or likely to happen. But there
Hmm.
is that fear that drives some of this adoption too. But I think that is a smaller component. I think this is a rich industry that finally has found something to spend their money on.
Mm. But also, from my experience of interacting with AI and interacting with these kinds of tools, and a little bit, from what I'm hearing that you're saying with Claude Code, as much as you've got these agents who are going to be able to go out and do a lot of the sort of heavy lifting for you, they're going to be able to sift through information, which is going to save you loads of time. At the end of the day, you still need to be the commanding officer, right? You still need to be the one who is deploying and knowing what to ask for and knowing what it needs to do for you. Your agents are only going to be as good as your instructions. So, and the person giving the instructions needs to know what they're looking for and what is valuable and what is not valuable. So, I think that that's, from my understanding, that's where AI is a tool, and understanding how to use it as a tool is the thing that's going to be powerful. And you could let yourself be afraid, and maybe there are genuine things, and we could talk about those in another and another. But for the most part, it's actually something to be excited about when you can see that it's a tool for you to be mastered. So, and you are in the business of building the tools. So I'm sure you're seeing people that are getting excited about and seeing the possibilities of what they can do as they deploy their army of minions. But
Yeah.
speaking of tools, there's a new tool as well that you've been building.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
So we have two tools, right? Like one
Uh,
is, as I talked about, it's what we call Agentic IP Author.
mhm.
It's basically a a compendium of all our tools. There are hundreds of tools that we have developed that do various things. Like, you want to do a search, you want to draft a patent, you want to write claims, you want to respond to an office action, you want to analyze an office action, you want to conduct a standard essentiality patent mapping, you want to do claim charts. We've got tools for everything. And all you need to do is connect to our MCP server, and Claude Code will understand what these tools can do. And then you build your own adventure, and off it goes and helps you out, right? As simple as that. And it's very powerful. It's working really, really well. So that's our first product, which is Agentic IP Author, we call it. And for Agentic IP Author, we are in a closed beta. So if you're interested, hit us up at support@ipauthor.com. Hit me up on my email or here on LinkedIn or wherever you see this podcast or hear it. Let us know. We will set you up with this beta if you are really keen on it, and you will enjoy using it like many of our users are already doing. But the other product that we have released, it's called insights.ipauthor.com. And it's a direct result of all this agentic technology. We now have our agents doing the work round the clock. So, for example, our agents are monitoring the USPTO. So as office actions come out, our agents are analyzing them, understanding what the examiner behavior and pattern is, finding the right precedents. Like, this examiner had handled exactly this type of rejection for exactly this type of technology 6 months ago, and this is how the applicant overcame those rejections. We provide the agents are pulling that information and then giving it to our office action strategy generator, and the office action strategy generator is generating those strategies. And guess what? We have made all of this available to you in real time on our website, which is insights.ipauthor.com. Right? So here you go to insights.ipauthor.com. You can hit up, your company name. You can then take any of these office actions, and you have all of this information about what the examiner likes. You have all these precedents that I talked about, and then you can get intelligent prosecution insights, which is basically a strategy recommendation that'll be produced for you once you sign up. So this step, you have to sign up for it, but again, it's free. And so you can then ask it for the strategy recommendations. What our engine is doing is taking all of this information, all of this office action information. It's taking all of the examiner precedent data. It's then taking all of the precedent insights and how this precedent played out, the whole history of the precedents, and then it is preparing actually a response strategy for you to review and to choose and then to implement if you like it. So it takes a minute or so to pull this together, but once it comes through, it's something quite powerful and something that you can start using today. We also have a little chat bot, like, you can ask it questions about your strategy. You can have it give you more answers beyond what is already shown on this screen. So here we go. This is the adopt the examiner's roadmap to allowance by rewriting allowable dependent claims into independent form for claim 17, resolve the indefiniteness claim, etc., etc. It's giving you the reference analysis. It's proposing the amendments. It's giving you the arguments to supplement, and it's saying, what, you don't need to go into an interview cycle with this, right? And it is giving you a risk assessment for you, and it's telling you whether your scope will be significantly narrowed as a result of this office action or not. So this is all done for you, and you can access it today for every single office action, at least that is publicly available. It's not, we don't have access to your private path. So this is ready to go. Insights.ipauthor.com.
And I mean, can I look at other people's insights, or am I blocked from doing that?
No, you can look at your competitors. You can say, oh, you know what, like, what's the situation with Apple? Like, how many office actions are pending. You can see, like, you can get a rough sense of how much time it'll take for their patent applications to be granted, what kind of narrowing they can see. you can go crazy with all of that, right? And if you connect to Insights.IP Author through an agentic interface, then just
Yeah, you can
imagination is,
have you can have a little army that would be doing all of the research and checking up on all of the people that you want to be checking up on, and creating little reports for you, and creating graphics and all sorts. Maybe it might create my favorite little thing, which is a spreadsheet.
yeah.
I'm a secret spreadsheet lover.
Oh, it creates beautiful spreadsheets. When you connect it to an agent harness, you can have it predict like the future, right? You can say,
Okay.
so my competitors are going to be like, I know that my competitors are Apple and Google and Amazon. I want to understand what their portfolios will look like 2 years out based on what is in the examination stage and what is likely to be narrowed, what is likely to stay the same. And then you can predict how your portfolio is going to look. You can predict your own portfolio. You can predict the portfolio of your competitors, and you can say, the picture in 2027 might be a little grim at the rate we are going. I think we need to ramp up our invention pipeline. And you can ask the AI, like, okay, which inventors do I go to, right? And it'll say, 3 years from now, you're going to have a bit of a problem in this particular area because that is where your inventors haven't been giving you enough inventions.
Fascinating.
And you go to those inventors and say, hello, let's get going.
Let's do some
Now,
things.
yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. That's really, really exciting. So again, where can they find that information? What is the website called?
Yes. So you go to ipauthor.com or insights.ipauthor.com. You can email us at support@ipauthor.com, because the Agentic IP Author is in a closed beta, as I said. We want to work with teams, individuals who are actually going to have a little bit of tolerance for the messiness that results when you are connecting an agent to an army of minions, as you'd like to call them. So we are in closed beta, but we'll soon make this platform available generally, and everybody will be able to subscribe to it. But right now we are limiting it to a smaller set.
Well, if someone is inspired by what we've spoken about today, I'm sure they'll have an agent who will be sitting there waiting to predict when exactly IP Author is going to come out of the beta mode and be available in this new iteration to everyone. Well, thank you very much, Samir, and we'll speak again next week.
Thank you very much.
Okay.